something a little different for us. One thing I really wanted, if you've been living under a rock, you know about the Philando Castile case.
Yep.
And how once again
justice was not served.
Justice was not served. And I don't know if you've seen the video, either the Facebook one that was released from his girlfriend right when it happened, that's Facebook Live, or the dash cam footage that happened. And I want to talk about a couple things here, and I'm going to try not to get too angry because I'm very angry. And I hope you're angry at what's happening. Because here's what I saw when I saw this video. And if the jurors saw this video, I really question what it is that they saw. So what I saw was, and you tell me what you saw. I saw that the cop pulls them over for what I believe, like you said, it was a tail light that was supposedly out.
I think he said broken tail light.
Broken tail light, which if you look at the video, both lights seem to be working fine. So the cop comes up. Cop has his gun drawn already. I believe his gun's already drawn.
He's got his hand on it at least.
His hands on the gun, and he asked Mr. Castile to produce his ID. So as he's going to try to produce his ID, he tells him, "Hey, I also have a gun on me, and I have a concealed weapons permit." So he tells him that, and then he continues to do what the officer asked him to do.
Right.
And then he gets shot at 7 times.
Right. While his girlfriend and child are
in the back. And we had this conversation off camera, so we want to bring it to you guys. So at what point, so I'm thinking, I'm a police officer, and I'm pulling over a gentleman who has a woman and a toddler and the child. And he calmly tells me, very calmly tells me, I have a weapon on me. I have a concealed permit on me, and then goes to reach for his wallet.
Which he was asked to produce.
Which he was asked to do. So at what point did the officer think that this man told me everything, and now he's reaching for the thing that I asked him to reach for?
Right.
But he processes that as there's a greater than 50% chance that he's not reaching for his ID, and he's reaching for a gun to shoot me.
Right.
How does that happen?
I don't know how, and I've had problems in my mind and I guess in my heart about police officers in general, and I don't know how they process information. I know there's a difference between one police officer being there and it's at night and it's dark. But in this case, they had 2. There was another one on the passenger side of the vehicle, and he was engaged in the process, meaning he was paying attention. He wasn't lollygagging. And the thing that got me was how fast it got from being pulled over to being shot. He didn't do, and from what we got from the video, and I said this earlier, we don't have that killer shot where it says, it's a camera shot from the police officer's back where he sees all this houses going down. We don't have that. And for me, it didn't make a difference, because I know, and I've been in a situation I got pulled over and they ask you for something and you got to go where the registration is. It's in your back pocket. Where do men put their wallets for the most part? In their back pocket or in the side pocket. It's not sitting on my lap while I drive. So it's not in visible position. I don't know how we get there. I don't know how the police officer's mind goes to, not only do I need to pull out my gun, but I need to unload in this car.
7
Because
shots.
It wasn't even, don't move. I'm telling you not to move. He went from, I'm asking you this question, and Castile moving to his pocket.
I think there was a stop, and probably a half second after that was a shot.
It was unload. So, are you telling me that Castile went from, I have a registration, like he went that way? I mean, no, it's not even logical. And this is the part that gets me, and it's intentional. People post this because they're trying to refute what people say about the situation. The next thing we see is somebody else getting arrested that doesn't look like us. They're resisting arrest, actively punching officers, kicking them, and they get handcuffed.
Where's the training at? Like when I watch this, and now it's to the point where I say these videos, like it's a thing now.
Right.
With black people just being killed by police. When I watch these videos and I go online and I read posts and I talk to people, one constant thing always comes up, and they're talking about what the person that died could have done to prevent the situation.
Right.
And what
There's
they
always a
never
justification
what they
for
never talk about is what could the police officer, the trained professional who has a weapon.
But that's the point. They do that in other situations. They're not always killing everyone. That's the part. It's not that there's not training. It's not that there's not police officers that's doing. And I'm trying to be diplomatic about this. There's not that there's police officers that's doing this the wrong way every time. There are good police officers. I'm not trying to bash police officers.
I know some good police officers.
Why do we always have to be the victim of this kind of stuff? There's another one that just happened recently. Lady calls for, she says, was a burglar in the house.
Yep. Was it her boyfriend, I think?
And they had responded to this lady before. They knew she was mentally or possibly mentally disturbed. And they came to the house. They say, open the door, we won't shoot you, we won't do anything to you. And what's the next thing that happens? She gets killed. How many of these do we need to have, to your point about the dreamers, for people to wake up? This is not one-offs. If this happened once every 3 years, we wouldn't be able to pull these names out. We wouldn't be able to pull these situations out. We talked about the guy that got shot at the movie theater, the guy that got shot in the parking lot because his music was too loud. A guy getting choked because he's selling cigarettes.
A guy running away from a police
shot
officer.
in his back.
Shot in the back. I think that's the only police officer that's been convicted, by the way.
Right, but
one.
If we did, and then what gets me is that if we didn't have all of this video, how many of these people wouldn't even get close to getting a possible conviction?
I mean,
would they even go to trial?
They're not even going to get indicted.
Not even get indicted. So the guy that did get, convicted of
in
that,
South Carolina,
would he have gotten convicted if he had no video?
No, because his story was the same story that we always get, which is the guy attacked him. Mm-hmm. I don't know how that explains 3 shots to the back.
It does not.
That was the story until we saw the video. The video changed it, and the video changed it in that one case. And for that one case where the video actually served its purpose, we have 10, 15, 20 others.
And those are the ones we know.
That we know of.
And we know that there's people that's getting killed by police officers and their story's not being told. Because we don't have a Facebook Live video. We don't have somebody's cell phone video. I don't know where to go with this. It's not only frustrating for me personally because that could have been me, but it's frustrating because I'm sending 2 sons into this situation. That's not a New York situation. That's not a LA situation. This is anywhere. This could be Minnesota. It could be Idaho. It could be Florida. It doesn't matter anymore. And that's the part that gets you. And when it was happening in Jim Crow times, it was a big thing. It was, there was signs on the wall. And so you fought that system. How do you fight these one-off situations one at a time? Do you fight for police reform? Well, now you got to fight that in every single district or
every locality in the United States.
And that's what's diabolical about it, is that they're picking off people one by one. And you can say it's not systematically or not. We're looking at stuff on TV, and what happens there is it's not just the person that's died, it's not just their family, it's not just the community that's hurt, but it's the viewpoint and perspective of everyone that's watching. Every kid that watches that video now has a different, more tainted, and I don't even know if it's the right way to say it grammatically, but their view of the world is tainted. And we've taken that away from them.
And it's one of those, it's the sad thing, and it applies to so many things. I feel like it's going to get worse before it gets better. And what does worse look like? Like, if this isn't worse, what does worse look like? What is it going to have to take? How many people are going to have to die before it matters?
So I implore, and we always try to end each one of these conversations about the books, about everything we talk about on this page, about what we can do. This one's a hard one because it's not, hey, go out and, save your money and give back to your community. That's something you can physically, tangibly do right now and make a big difference.
Yeah.
This one is, we're marching, we're boycotting, we're making people aware, and I still see somebody getting shot every week. And the ones we're talking about are the ones that's made national news. People are getting killed in our own city here. How do we stop this? This is what we talk about when we say the dialogue. We're in one city. People on this page can be from another city. What can we do to support? I know there's Twitter, I know there's Instagram, there's Facebook. We got to use these mediums to really push not only the awareness, but the unity and actual solutions. And I hate putting this stuff on people, but the millennials, you guys have a large voice. You guys have numbers. If you came out and voted for one of your own, we can make change in localities. If you went out and became the police department commissioner, you can make change. You have to be the ones to help drive this. We're going to do it. We're not stopping, but you have to realize how powerful you guys are. Millennials are going to be the largest populated group or generation and surpass the baby boomers. Think about that. So all this stuff that they're putting in front of you, the negative stuff, you can erase that. It starts with doing the right things, being aware, being knowledgeable, but we're going after and doing it. And you guys are. I do follow a lot of people on Twitter. I see it, but we got to do something. Enough is enough. No one should have to bury their own son on Father's Day because he obeyed the law. Here it is. We're telling our kids, be good citizens, go to school, be yourself. And we try to throw the positive stuff in there. Express yourself. And they could be expressing themselves, having fun with their friends, killed for nothing. It's like their life doesn't matter. That has to change.
You got any other topics? Is that...
I think it's a good one. That has to get talked about more.
At first, I didn't want to watch the video. I was like, I didn't want to watch it. Like, when the verdict came out, this was the first one that I initially had a numbness. Like, I heard it, and my initial reaction was, not surprised. That was my first reaction. It wasn't until later when I watched and I was thinking about it. That's when, like, the emotion came back. But what scared me was the numbness. Like,
that you could possibly be numb to that?
That I could possibly be numb to that.
I think we talked about this on Facebook. Because I said, how? Because...
Yeah, you posted how, and I think my response was...
why are you surprised?
Yeah, why are you surprised?
And I think my comment and I don't know if I explained it well or not. 'Cause at that point, I still wasn't adding up. There's of course, there's a piece of me that's somewhat trying to be an optimist, and that's getting harder and harder. But having seen the Facebook Live video before the dash cam stuff came up, it was, wow, how did they beat this one? When you have something that's kind of like, we only saw one perspective, and I know how fickle like eyewitness accounts can be. I get that part. But in this day and age of video, it's kind of hard to say that didn't happen because we clearly have video that it happened. And
you can match them up.
And there was a video on Facebook this week where they had, and I can't remember her name, but the girlfriend's account, and they had the dash cam.
Yeah.
And they married him up.
Yep.
She told 100% of the truth. It happened exactly the way she said, except for, I think she said boom, boom, boom. And it was not 4 shots. It was 7. So she got it right. She told the truth. And again, and I'm telling my kids this. Tell the truth. Be honest. Be good. Do the right things. And I tell them don't hang out in spots where you shouldn't be hanging out. And I tell them don't be doing things you shouldn't be doing. And to this point, 14 to 16-year-old boys, black boys, no problems with drugs, no problem with loose sex, no problem with hanging out when they're not supposed to be. When I call them, I know where they are. They're doing the right things. But when you as a father or mother have to say right and good is not enough, that's a problem. Because this is how you're supposed to raise your kids.
Yeah.
You're supposed to give them this foundational base and say, take off, take over the world. Be the next Facebook. Be the next inventor. Be the president of the United States. And how many times do we have to say, hashtag this person died, and then fill that tweet with how good a person they were? Because I'm getting tired of seeing it where this person got shot, this person was a good father, good mother, hardworking person.
Loved in his community.
Loved in his community. Always was volunteering, soup kitchen and stuff like that. Because what gets me is that we're almost justifying how good this person was as if that matters. That person, even if they were a criminal, at that point, the way they were shot and killed did not deserve to die.
No. I mean, I don't know what murder is anymore. And the crazy thing with this case, they actually only prosecuted for manslaughter. They didn't even try to go for murder. Manslaughter 2 in Minnesota, I'm trying to tell you, it's like a 10 to 15 year sentence. And you can get off in like 5. They're telling me that Philando Castile's life, the jury of his peers don't even think the police officer owes 5 years of his for the life of another man. We're not even talking about death penalty, life in prison, no parole, 25 years, 5 years.
I thought there was even a law about shooting into cars with potential other people who can get killed.
It's supposed to be like in some type of endangerment. But you're the police. You're the police. I can't even talk about this anymore. It's too upsetting. I can't. I'm mad just like I was last night.